What's going on, world? I know things are still hard right now. From black men getting murdered in the streets, to unemployment, to COVID 19. And we have a very special guest here with us today to help us talk to those issues. He's a Marine. He builds planes for a living. But he's better known for his local work he does here in the Atlanta area. From feeding the starving artists to his H.E.Y program with children. Give it up for only the second KD to grace the We Love Trap screen. So look, man, so what's been up, man? I thank you for coming on this good Tuesday, and how the quarantine been for you?
Man, the quarantine actually it's been great, bro. Like if I if you recognize that it's opportunity in times like this, and if you ahead of that, you know what I'm saying, you was ready for something like that to happen, bro. And I obviously, and of course, not it has not been great in the terms of people dying, right? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, and whatnot. Of course, is there's that, but I'm just saying, um, if you were in the zone of opportunity of people that were still able to work, still able to maintain, and still able to keep doing what it was you were doing before, and to what's the word I'm looking for, to um, when shit starts to happen and you gotta change, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you gotta do that. Adapt. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been I've been feeling like it's been yeah, I've been feeling like it's been interesting, like we both said, like it isn't, great that people are dying, but it was a time where I was able to lock into a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm getting so much done, you know what I mean? I, I feel like I've been real efficient, and I've allowed myself to kind of get more heavy on my content creation. So it's been good for me, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Yeah,
really good.
man. It just depends on how you. It's really about perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's
Absolutely.
on how you look at the thing, man, and what you ready for.
Well, so we got a lot of stuff, going on in this world outside of, you know, coronavirus and COVID 19 and unemployment. Recently we have we had a few individuals that kind of died at the hands of a gun, and one died at the hands of the police officer. I kind of want to talk to you about George Floyd, and kind of when you saw that happen, like, kind of what was your feelings as just a black man in America? Like, what went through your mind?
Yeah, man. When I had just talked about like not watching videos of black men dying, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
about Ahmaud Arbery. I made the stupid mistake of watching that daggone video. I knew I shouldn't have watched the video. And man, it just fucked my shit up for several days. I'm fucked up behind this, man, and I already know in my head that my Arbery happening right now again. It's been happening for the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Floyd guy, he happening right now. Been happening for the last few years. So I just didn't want to dang on be. I ain't wanna. I ain't want to see that shit, and I ain't watched it since. No, it means daggone almost 10 minutes long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't make the same mistake of watching that one as I did
Mm-hmm.
a lot, So, but I knew what was in it, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And so it just made it it just made me wonder and question just about when the things like that happen. Ever since, like, I think about the Gina 6 thing, that was about the first one where I really started being like, seeing that the coverage happening in cycles. That was the first time that I kind of started paying attention to the cycle of them covering, because it was a couple other things that had happened before that I had like worked on that didn't necessarily get like the same type of coverage or whatever, but it's the same time I still knew that type of shit was still happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't something that was just happening every election year. So it's something that I treated like that ever since. So even to kind of get into your question, man, is like I was just waiting to see what it was gonna be. What was the next Trayvon Martin? What was the next hands up, don't shoot. This and this is what it
Yeah.
is. You know what I'm saying? I more so think about the guys, the in between guys that we don't never hear about. It's happening right now, bro. Some motherfuckers is getting fucked up and killed by the police just like that right now. And right now, in about 10 seconds, I don't know the exact statistic, but I'm sure there's one for it. But I guarantee you it's a nigga dying, getting fucked up by the police just like that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? For me, it was hard for me to. I couldn't watch. I didn't watch the whole video, the George Floyd thing, because like the Ahmaud Arbery thing was just so close in connection with it. You know what I mean? Like as far as time period, and the Ahmaud Arbery thing hit me a little bit different because I was born in Brunswick, Georgia, and my
Was you?
family, yeah, and my family still, large part of my family still lives down there, and so I like that hit me kind of weird when I heard about it because I just think like, I got younger cousins that, you know what I mean, upper teens, some in their 20s that could have been them. So that kind of hit me hard. So I found it kind of hard to watch the George Floyd video. I could probably watch like maybe like a minute of it and then I can't watch no more. So it definitely hits home. But the interesting thing is we've seen it so much in our lifetime that well, more than we shouldn't, and than we should, and it's kind of interesting to see. So, if you listen to CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, they'll tell you that hey, these riots or these protests started, based on this, George Floyd tragedy, and so I would say that although a lot of the protests that have happened in this country for black people have kind of been sparked by like somewhat current events, but they're more so rooted deeper into like the history of us in this country, and that there's like that is a part of the whole like energy of a protest. But like overall in this country, like how do you feel about, you know, one, how the protests have been portrayed over the media, you know, two, how protesters have conducted themselves, and three, like, how do you feel, what result or how effective will this approach be?
Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, one was what now?
How do you feel about the media portrayal of kind of the protest itself?
It's interesting. First of all, what lets you know that this a little bit different, when Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity come out and say that, unequivocally that this is something that we can't even argue with. We can't even argue with. You know, they'll they'll weave in all in between the lines when it comes to the idiosyncrasies about the specific cases. Was he a drug dealer? Did he have some weed on him? Didn't the fifth and the third grade touch a little white girl's booty? Whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They
yeah,
can bring you so they can go back with that. But this here, I listen to Rush Limbaugh, bro, at work every day. The white folks, they listen to him. You know what I'm saying? I listen to him just because that's part of the media I listen to anyway, just to get a broader perspective. And
yeah,
to hear him say that, like, the police should act, knowing how he go in every day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm
He
saying?
go in.
Yeah. Like I was like, damn, I was shocked. Like, holy shit! And then Hannity, because when Limbaugh go off, I'd be getting off work, and then I listen to WSB on the way home,
Yeah.
pretty much every day. And between Eric Erickson, sometimes when I leave early, I catch a little Hannity or whatever on the way home. And Hannity came out with the same thing. I was like, hold up, man, we got a trend. Like,
It's crazy, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, both of them saying that is crazy.
yeah, man. And so it was just wild. Like I was like, okay, something going on like with this here. And so then fast forward, that whole happened, and people start protesting and everything, and then it comes to the point where you have the organized, like outside interest, man, coming in and corrupting the. It's so, if you can think about just like the chaos, what they call like the chaos of battle, like just like all the shit that be going on in the middle of whatever a war might happen. You might be ducking them up and might be shooting from the left to the side, to the right. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's kind of what's going on in the midst of like the anarchy that's going on in the midst of like you have a protest and like people ain't decently deceivable and smart people, which there are a lot of, especially a lot of white folks out there,
Yeah.
ain't remiss to this. You know what I'm saying? So they know they can go. That's why
Mm-hmm.
you see all these random white folks out here. I live right here downtown. You know what I'm saying? I see,
Yeah.
you know, I'm seeing these random white folks and all black and all this. These ain't no regular Atlantans. I know this just from even if I wasn't somebody that didn't know shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so it's a lot of plat pallets of bricks, all kinds of shit, man, that's going on. It ain't just the little people that sent a Facebook post about meeting me up here because I'm mad about this happening. That is happening,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But there are definitely a lot of organized outside interests that are funded, that are well funded, and they take advantage of things
Absolutely.
like this when they happen, because this is
Mm-hmm.
what they do. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And then can you imagine what that coupled with the powder keg of an election, not only an election, but an election of Donald Trump, who has already said he done already like basically authorized the militia.
Yeah.
He done christened the race war. All like he
Mm-hmm.
like go ahead and kill these people. So like they like, oh, okay, we finna really turn up now.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
so it's
That's
wild, bro. It's not
It
gonna
really
end
is.
no time soon.
No, I don't think so. That's one of the things I was saying is like, anybody who's a military man or has kind of been amongst that, cloth. I went to North Georgia with like Carell, Bill Brew, and all of us. My plan was to commission. That didn't happen, but he did. And you were a Marine. That real change is going. If you want real change from, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Am a Marine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you are a Marine. Yep. You're right. Yeah. They don't. It don't. Like that's your. It's a life. It's a life thing. Yep. It's a life thing. But a lot of change through violence, a lot of times come through war, and so yeah, there may be a battle coming soon. Even harder than what we're going through now, as far as like you said, Trump, enacting all of these he's with everything from troops to whatever, he's really going at it.
And
Yeah,
he don't care.
man. It's here, bro. It's here.
Yeah.
You can believe that, bro. And then on top of that, it's like, man, they ain't. It's not gonna let up from, at least
No.
from now up until the election. You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
agree.
gonna be their Occupy Wall Street kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically the remnants of them,
Yep.
and they finna turn it up, bro. But the thing is, if we was smart enough to know, in a war, like you say, this is a war, man, and you do need your
Mm-hmm.
shooters. So
Yep.
if you gonna let them, if you gonna let the white people shoot, let them shoot, but know that's what it is, and be
Yep.
in control of that narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get back what you was asking about the media, I have noticed that they have distinctively tried to make a difference along the platforms between who's in town and who's not, even up to the point where they try to to find out how many people are arrested from out of town that are really out of towners versus people who live in the metro Atlanta area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They really, so there is a difference in that, but I don't think I don't I don't think we are really in. Me and you sitting here talking about that, so we in control of that. We two brothers that are conscious enough to know that, but I don't think as a whole that we are really in control of that particular part of the narrative. We need to
Yep.
grasp that soon and be able to use them like folks. Like 9 o'clock
Yeah.
when they say it don't need to be a black face out there after
Yep. Yep.
8:30. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
agree.
shit, man, let the white folks go and get arrested.
Yeah. So some people say that Atlanta is Wakanda. So what do you have to say about that? And more so, like, also, what do you think of the goods and the bads of Atlanta when it comes to all of this from racial profiling to all of that stuff?
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, Atlanta is Wakanda. You know, as
Mm-hmm.
far as I lived all over the country there, and I've been stationed in some of the armpits of the country, some of the most redneckest, worst parts here, man. I done been to the worst parts, and I done been to them worst parts, and I met some of the best people that I done known in my life. You know what I mean? But one thing is for sure, there is no place in this between the longitude and latitude, from California to New York, from Seattle down to Miami to the Florida Keys, but there is no place in the United States like Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
built like it is. It is very unique. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of what Atlanta is a lot of mystique, really. You can get very far on what your name is and what your brand is, and that's what a lot Atlanta is to the
Mm-hmm.
world. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
when you get here and you peel back some of the layers, of even just a little bit, the political layers, the money layers, because I done been just in the things that even a little bit that I do. You know, I wasn't born into a named Atlanta family, obviously, but you know what I'm saying? Just from work that I done and from what that I done seen, you know, Atlanta is really built on a lot of mystique and a lot of agreement, what they call the Atlanta way.
Yep.
You know, it's like a racial agreement where basically the rich white people just say we'll have some racial harmony, you know, and give you guys some political positions or or whatever. But really behind that, really who is really controlling what's going on is a couple of blanks and a couple of Coca-Cola, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody answer to that, So we had a lot of I don't want to get I don't like to sorry about that ambulance there, but I tell you I do live on Lowry, man. You know what the deal is.
Mm-hmm.
So but Atlanta built on Atlanta is like a house, a real shiny fancy house, man. That's is built on sand, black sand, and that shit's about to come crumbling down, bro. And as soon as they elect a white mayor, which is gonna happen soon.
Yep.
You know what I'm
I hear
saying?
you.
And not to say that it's gonna happen and it'll keep happening, but the demographics are quickly changing, and I don't think a lot of people are really gonna be ready for what's coming up and what's gonna be what Atlanta mid to late 2020s is gonna look like.
Yep.
So,
I hear you, bro.
So, the protest came. The protest has been going on across the world, a lot in the country. It came to our doorstep in the ATL. You work a lot with the youth, with Hey, and trying to help and empowering youth. What do you tell them, like, when they see something like that on TV, like, what I mean, the burning, the peaceful protesting, but also kind of the more aggressive style thing. What will you be able to tell them about that?
well, I mean, I in any kind of like thing that ain't a 1+1 thing or a STEM thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is my specialty, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Something that you can improve, anything that's emotional or anything like that with the kids, I try to get them to draw their own conclusions no matter what mine are, because I know what kind of preconceived notions I have, you know what I'm saying? And I know how they look at me, they watch my every move, any and everything that I do, how I smell, everything, you know what I'm saying? So I try to really, and they probe to see if you're dating somebody. They probing to find any and everything out, you know what I'm saying? So I really, I try to see where they head at, you know, and if you get down to it, and even if I had to split them between D's and R's, most all my kids have a R, have a libertarian or a freedom kind of set of a mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, why get money? That's a you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
You know, so I I try to see where they at, see where their heads at or whatever, and then I try to augment that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that's what I didn't have. You know what I mean? So I try to see where their strong suits are at. And when it comes to guiding them about how to what's happening socially like that, I try to check. I try to instill timeless behaviors in them that'll to where they won't have to. Okay, they got to be concerned about it being black and their skin being weaponized. You know what I'm saying? But if you can be yourself within the space of not being something that's perceived as a threat, then you can operate in a space to where you can be a little bit more free than just walking down the street and being seen with a hoodie on and it's perceived as an automatic threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I try to to answer your question. I guess I try to nullify all the things that I can up to the point where of somebody's ignorance that's just to the point where they was gonna kill them no matter what they did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which happens as well. But if you can prepare them all the way up to that, which that's what we have to do. That's the charge that we got. We have we got a lot of advantages of being black that we don't necessarily see or take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Because we so worried about eating, period. You know what I'm saying? So I try to just get them to not eat, to be able to operate in that if they can operate a little bit in that space, they got a little bit of wiggle room, and they got a little bit more of an advantage than they did before they met me, at least.
Dope. So we'll end it with this. So we got the primaries coming up. There's not much of a competition here right now because Bernie's kind of dropped out. So we have a presumptuous Democratic nominee. So we got Trump versus Joe Biden. A lot of people say those aren't great choices right there, but that's what we got. So tell me, what are your thoughts of the two, man? You don't have to go too crazy in depth, but kind of what are your thoughts of the two?
Well, man, shit. You only gave me my choice of what are my thoughts between the two, but I basically don't have no thoughts of the two. You know what I'm saying? And I don't put myself in the box of thinking that, it's either got to be one or the other, because it don't got to be one or the other, especially for a guy like me. Somebody like Joe Biden has not earned my vote. I don't think he's earned your vote or any other straight black man's vote, for that matter.
Yep.
Shout out to straight black men for Joe Biden, but not for Donald Trump.
The group on Facebook.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just with Joe Biden. Now with Trump, you know what I'm saying? Trump can't get around his own stupidity, you know what I'm saying, enough for me. From jump, he was a draft dodger, which is a non-starter for me anyway. But Trump gonna win anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I invite him to go ahead and continue to burn country on down, bro. But I also invite the brothers like you and everybody else to work in this in-between space, because you gotta lose some. You're gonna lose some, and I at least see we gonna lose. Not we, because I'm not a Democrat. The Democrats, which is perceived as the black parties, they gonna lose this. If you had the wherewithal to know that you are already gonna lose, you should put yourself in a better position. But they're not willing to put themselves in a better position. They want to burn down with the ship. So I'm gonna go ahead and let them burn on down and build and do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, once the thing is burnt on down, they're gonna need a place to go, and you can't turn them away. So we're gonna have to accept them, but then at that time we'll be able to accept them on a little bit better terms. Because now, to be truthfully told, black women hold the majority of the coagulated power there. You know what I'm saying? And I give it to them. They earned it. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna flex. So go ahead and let them flex. But I just wish they'd be a little bit smarter with the flexing. But they're a little bit drunk with it now. So they gonna support Biden all the way up to this loss, which he may win 7 to 10 states, if that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, things is looking bad for Trump right now as far as all this. But politics, it changed. The news cycle changed so quick, or whatever. You better believe them white folks is gonna come out to come reelect Donald Trump in droves, and people are not really excited about Joe Biden because they have no reason to be. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, yeah, man, I'm going to vote for my dog again, or Joe Exotic, maybe, perhaps. But I think that, to wrap up, I think that if we had a small coagulation of our vote, and both sides was able to see, like, okay, this particular straight black man ain't really fucking with either side, then they would both come, because both of them have things that we want. It's just that the money is in the far fringes of both sides. The money is in the far right ideas, pressuring people, to emotional things, and the far left things that pressure emotional things. But the actuality is the majority of the country is purple. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So So we just gotta figure out
Make it through.
how to get with that, Earl. You know what I'm saying? We doing it now with this interview, bro. So hey,
Oh yeah, exactly, exactly, man. You know we'll get through, man. We've all been able to survive through all of this. But you know, I appreciate you coming on, man. You know, I kind of wanted to have your independent thoughts, so you know, people can kind of get an idea. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate you you rocking with me, man. I like you to briefly, if you can, talk about you know some of the other stuff you do, like for feeding the starving artists, and hey, man, like let people know like you know you do a lot of stuff in the community these days, a lot of stuff for kids, even like you know you got the kids who the water boys, you know what I mean, like you out here, bruh.
yeah, that's what you got. That's what it's about, man. The community, when it comes to community, it's about wraparound services. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about what you are good at. You know what I'm saying? You can't do everything. Nobody can do everything, but I know what I'm good at. You know what I'm saying? So I go and I do that. You know what I'm saying? Politics is just kind of my like passion. You know, just my little thing that I was just kind of into. So like you asked, Feed the Starving Artists is a voter registration open mic that I started to for artists to be able to come to not only be able to make money for themselves, which is the feeding part, which is what their immediate need was. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of open mics offering studio time and false, you know, hopes and dreams of this or that. But I created a model that said, if you come here and a certain amount of people vote for you, you will get paid a certain amount of cash money dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like that, a one for one monetary swap. You know what I'm saying? So yes, Feed the Starving Artists is that, man. So we invite politicians and political people to come and to solicit votes or political support from them same people and them same artists and them same artist constituencies, because a lot of them are teachers, mechanics, lawyers, and firefighters. They're all members of the community that come through and who enjoy a little bit of poetry or enjoy somebody coming to play guitar or whatever. And then at the same time, you know what I'm saying, they get to see their local politicians, their platform, and they get to see them in a light that they wouldn't normally be able to see or catch them at a city council meeting or whatever. And so it's just a real good time, man. So we have a good time there at Peter Starving Artists. And hey, um, it's all about just me trying to be as a real rounded man as possible. So Peter Starving Artists is kind of my civic thing that I do, and Hey is my give back kind of thing. So that's my nonprofit that we do, and I teach STEM program. By trade, I make airplanes for Lockheed Martin in Marietta. So I teach kids the types of skills that I do at work, and I teach them in according to their curriculum that they have to go through their matriculation through school. Most of the kids are APS students. So, but I teach them not in a way of fixing planes, but how to fix bikes, go karts, and truck engines. This is a way to introduce them to simple STEM mechanics, like fractions with wrenches, 3/8 wrenches, 7/16 wrenches, teaches them to be familiar with fractions, teaches them wrench sizes, teaches them how big that fraction looks, you know what I'm saying? So when they go to take that CRCT test and they see a 7/16 on there, they don't freak out just because it's a fraction, you know what I'm saying? They don't seen it, they don't manipulated it with their hands, they don't fixed a two-stroke engine with it, and understand it, the application with it. So they go on to be engineers, mechanic shop owners, freaking rocket scientists. They go on to work at Lockheed, where I work at. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I do. That's how I give back. You know, and that's just all a part of who I'm trying to be as a 100% black man, bro.
That's dope, brother. Well, I appreciate you coming, man. I appreciate you talking, kicking a little knowledge for the people. And, have a good, blessed day. And that's about it.
You too, bro, man. I appreciate that, bro. And shit, man. I'm humbled that you would reach
Yeah.
out to me for that, man. No doubt. And we gotta we gotta rap, bro. No, we gotta,
Yeah.
outside of this, we'll get up.
It'll be dope, man. All right. We good. All right. That was
All right,
dope,
man.
man.
Yo, I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like and comment in the description to tell us how you feel about what's going on in the country today. From the protests to black men being killed in the streets to being unemployed to COVID-19. And also make sure you click that subscribe button down below and the bell next to it so you can be notified when we put more content up. Y'all have a good day. Peace. They call